Hi, these comments are for easy, and you just sent me an independent speaking practice test. I think yesterday you worked on your what I call the TOEFL pronunciation pretest for vowel and consonant sounds. You got that done, and now you want to get some feedback on the speaking. So let's see how you did on this particular speaking practice test. So, your practice topic today that you chose is describe a person in your life, explain why that person is important to you, and let's listen to your speaking task without any interruptions at all in the beginning. And then the second time, I'm going to give you an estimated score, and then I will offer some corrections. And I'll try to focus my feedback in three areas: pronunciation, language use, and topic development. All right.
The most important person in my life is my mother. She has given me all the economy necessary, for instance, the housing and schooling. So that's why I could live in a better environment and also could have graduated from high school and the university. And also, she always gives me advice whenever I feel sad. For instance, last time I couldn't score a higher scoring in a test, but she advised me that I need to look forward to, since the test is just about score and not about how you are.
Okay. So I think with this, I'm going to go over the rubrics in just a minute. My best guess right now is probably between 2 and 2.5. I'm guessing between 14 and then maybe 18 or 19 points out of 30. That would be my guess at this point. So, like I said, I think the 2 range is probably the best fit for you right now based on your abilities. So, if you look at delivery, speech is intelligible. The listener efforts needed because of unclear articulation, awkward tone, or choppy rhythm. I think also, especially near the end of the response, it became noticeable that you're definitely limited with your grammar and your vocabulary. So that's why I think 2 also here. And then the topic development area, response is connected, though the number of ideas presented is limited. Mostly basic ideas are expressed. And I think you didn't really describe your mom. I think that's the biggest issue here. If you describe her, you tell us a little bit about her personality, her physical features. Is she tall, short? Does she wear glasses? Is she more of a serious type personality, or is she more friendly? Is she passionate? You could probably tell us a little bit more about who she is. Okay, let's listen to your response one more time.
The most important person in my life is my mother. She has given me all the economy necessary, for instance, the housing and
So she has given me, let's go back to what you said here. Hold on a minute. Give me a quick second. Can we go back to the beginning?
salary, for instance, the housing and schooling. So
Okay, as examples of. Excuse me. Okay, let's listen to the beginning one more time.
the most important person in my life is my mother. She
I would say, is my mother who? So instead of saying my mother she, instead of having 2 short sentences, maybe change that second sentence into an adjective clause. That's going to show a little bit more advanced grammar.
has given me all the economy necessary, for instance, the
All the economy necessary. A mother doesn't give you economy. You could say, my mother gives me financial support. Who's providing me financial support? That would work better. So I think your word choice there is probably not the right word. So that's a language use problem, and it's kind of not very precise, and it interferes in what you're trying to say.
housing and schooling. So that's why I could live in a better environment and also could have graduated from high school and the university.
Okay.
And also, she always gives me advice whenever I feel sad.
So you could say my mother is also important in my life because she gives me valuable advice. Now, what you did is you have to look at the question. The question says describe an important person in your life and then explain why that person is important to you. You're focusing too much on the second part of the speaking task. You're not really focusing on who she is, describing her. So I would spend roughly 50% of the time, if you have on the TOEFL a two-part speaking or a two-part writing task, I would try to spend equal time on both parts of that task. That way you do better, you score better points in the topic development.
For instance, last time I couldn't score a higher scoring in the test, but she advised me that I need to look forward to, since the test is just about score and not about how you are. The most
Okay, this is where you run into big trouble. This is why you'll probably score in the low 2 range here, is you weren't able to completely explain that last idea. So my mother told me that I shouldn't worry about the score now because I can practice more and improve my score later on, but you weren't able to say all of that. So again, that goes back to language use. Definitely here, your response demonstrates limited range and control of grammar and vocabulary. All right, so I think I'm going to put your score at maybe 14 to 15 points out of 30. I think that's probably pretty accurate right now based on your performance. Okay, so what do? As you know, in the speaking, actually, in my TOEFL course, I have a grammar section, so I recommend that you begin spending time in that area of my course. That's going to be very, very helpful for you. Number 2, spend time in the vocabulary part of my course, especially vocabulary lesson number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Start working on learning the words in those lessons. That's going to give you a vocabulary base of almost 2,000 basic and advanced level vocabulary words. That's going to open up your ability to communicate. So you'll have a lot broader range of communication abilities by learning those words. Okay, so now you're studying in the vocabulary. You're now studying in the grammar area. You're taking care of that. Right? So I think in the speaking part of my course, or actually pronunciation, you're working hard there. So I'm not going to give you too much feedback on that because you already got my pretest comments back yesterday, right? Okay, so with the speaking part of my course, I want you to take a look at speaking lesson number 1. I think that's a good lesson for you right now. And then also take a look at speaking lesson number 7. It's called How to Make Your Speaking and Writing More Coherent. I think that's also an important lesson for you to take a look at. All right, and thank you very much for completing the practice test. You're doing a great job. Remember, as you practice, you'll definitely continue to improve. And remember that it isn't that your speaking score is low or your overall TOEFL score is low. It just matches what your English abilities are right now. So your goal is to go through the lessons in my online TOEFL course and improve your academic English language abilities. And guess what happens after you improve your academic English abilities? Your TOEFL score goes up. You see what I'm saying? So be patient. It takes time. Probably, depending on what your score is, you're probably looking at 2 or 3 months of some pretty serious study before you make the improvements that you need to make in order to reach your goal. And thank you very much. And for more information, go to bettertoeflscores.com.